Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome into the number one Group of Five college football podcast in the world. This is the Group of Five Guys. We are the Group of Five Guys, and our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. We need you to follow us on all the social platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Tell your family and friends all about us, or you can download the Varsity app for free and listen to the show on there. On this episode, a lot of shuffling happening in the top 10, top 15, top 20 of college football this weekend. Had some wild games, had some abysmal crowd showings. Have a lot to talk about. Playoff scenario going to shake up just a little bit. Hope you enjoy the show. Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play, and boy did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
Projected getting drafted between the first and third round, that's incredible. The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the Group of Five.
Yeah, I really appreciate you do for the Group of Five programs, and I think it's great. I think we should get more of this. But you guys are on the forefront of this, and
so I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the Group of Five because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
Jeff, I know it's early. I know it's Monday, but I got a big problem.
What do you got?
I got to get it off my chest. I almost called you just to talk about it. Well, this is the straw that broke the camel's back yesterday. I'm at Publix. Okay. I'm leaving Publix. And there's a, I don't know, couple or brother and sister, not grown, but adult age. Okay.
Yeah.
20 years old, probably. Right. They're in the crosswalk. Both got their hoodies on. They're looking straight down. And the gentleman of the group, it's like he forgot something. And he turns around. Keep in mind, they're in the crosswalk. I'm just sitting there waiting on him. He turns around, walks halfway back towards the parking lot. Then he stops in the middle of the crosswalk and he turns, and they're arguing about what he has apparently left in the car in the middle of the crosswalk, Jeff. And I'm telling you, they went for, it was like a good minute. So and I'm very patient, and I hate like laying on the horn because, I'll try to just give it a little like beep, beep, and I'll accidentally just crush it. I didn't want to do that to him. But then it was like, then they stopped arguing and he went all the way across, and they never even acknowledged that there was other people in the world. And I'll tell you, Jeff, it happens all the time. It also happens, I hate to say this, you know where it happens more often than not, Jeff? Church.
Yeah.
I think there's something happens that people, I think they just get so overwhelmed, and, these people everywhere, and maybe they get so filled with the Spirit, Jeff, that they just lose any mental state. But you trying to walk out and everybody's getting funneled to one or two little doors, and it'll be an older couple typically. They're they're sweet holding hands, and then they'll just stop and start. Well, you go to Cracker Barrel, we go Waffle House, or what? And I'm just like, guys, get out of the way. I don't. It's just
spatial awareness, Sprouse. There's a lack of spatial awareness now. I would say the older generation, the elderly folk, they get a pass. I'm not going to say something.
Yeah,
but when you're the elderly and kids, because they just tend to have a lack of it. But if you're like a readily aged person, man or female, don't stop in the middle of walkways.
How do these people survive? on a daily basis.
I have no idea. That you would think that they were the only ones in the world walking around, and after being at, having 3 boys in multiple sporting events, whether it's, travel baseball, basketball, soccer, like you'll just be trying to walk out of the gymnasium
Dude.
and they're literally standing right in the doorway, like an entire family. I'm like, guys, people trying to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Just having a chit chat.
See, I'm overly cautious.
Me too.
And with my kids, especially, like, don't stand in people's way. Don't be dribbling the ball while the game's going on. Like,
yeah, like I'll give you a perfect example. So when we leave church too, there's like kind of like a little walkway, but there's like a couple steps and there's like a fountain. There's all this stuff, right? And Cam, he's 4, so he'll like want to like hop up the steps, or he'll want to like whatever, do something other than walk at a normal pace. And I make sure that I'm like, hey, bud, there's people behind you. Let's let them get past first, or let's walk at a normal pace. Like, and I probably to a fault, I overly do it. Like, I want to make sure that like the people that are behind us, like they acknowledge like, oh, okay, this guy at least realizes that they might even be blocking the way. And 9 times out of 10, people are like, no, he's fine. He's a kid. Take your time. But man, it's bad on my mind. And it's because we've been traveling too. So it's been happening at the airport. Yeah. That's probably the worst place for any of it. Is the airport. Anyway, Jeff, we got a lot to get to today.
Huge show.
Before we get there, you guys know the deal. Mine is steaming hot at the moment. I don't even think I can take a good sip right now. But Deca Gray Coffee Company, you guys know the deal. They've been supporting us this season. Make sure you visit decagray.com. Make sure you use our promo code GOFG for 10% off and free shipping. They've got the pumpkin space for the fall, and I saw Devin put it on Instagram this weekend. They've got the Cosmic Christmas available now. So I'm going to make sure I get that on my next order, but get that house smelling good. You know what I mean? If we're going to skip over Thanksgiving like we just talked about last week, let's get to Christmas then, and let's get the Christmas smells going with the Cosmic Christmas Deca Gray coffee.
All about it. I'm not skipping Christmas, or Thanksgiving rather. Thanksgiving deserves to have its day, and it will at the Murphy household. I don't know where anybody else.
We got to talk about that when it comes time, like favorite Thanksgiving foods. Because I'll be honest with you, like I've been sitting here thinking about it. Like I can't wait, and I don't even want a turkey. You know what I mean? And like, first of all, turkey's tough. It's tough to
if it's overcooked,
it can, and it's very easy to be. It's very easy to be overcooked. Now, if it was my decision, which I've done before, is I've done a prime rib, and then you could have a turkey or a ham too. But a prime rib, I mean, you get that thing. The good thing about a prime rib too is, you got your kind of thinner ends, and then you got your thicker middle. So you just take it all out at once. You got some cooked about medium, the rest of it medium rare to rare. I mean, tell you what.
Shay in the chat says we need a cornucopia of Deca Gray coffee.
I told you guys. You know what's really funny? I heard somebody say cornucopia on the radio this weekend. I'm telling you, it's a thing. I miss it. I miss it, like elementary school when you draw the turkey with your handprint.
Yeah,
and you try to draw the cornucopia. But anyway, we got a couple weeks till Thanksgiving to get at that. Headlines, Jeff. What about Coach Bohannon at Kennesaw State getting fired on a Sunday? Very interesting. And then he made some of the original articles said that he stepped down or resigned. But then he made a pretty clear tweet last night that he was informed directly from the athletic director that they were letting him go.
Yeah, it seems like there's something else there. And I don't know, we don't have any intel on this particular situation, but it just seems like, guys in his first year, makes a jump up. And I know they weren't super successful the last couple of years under him, but it feels like they wanted to use him to make the jump, and then they either have somebody waiting in the wings or have an idea of somebody they want to go get that they're going to bring in. It's just very, very interesting timing. Season's not over yet. You got and I know you lost to UTEP, but you got the big win against Liberty. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you've had some injuries, so it almost seems like this was planned.
Yeah, that's where my mind went immediately, was like maybe there was a conversation that was had between the AD and a coach that they might want, that they think they can go get. I don't know. Very interesting. I mean, weird to do it. Yeah, I just weird to do it with what, 3 games left for them. I mean,
Yeah.
no disrespect to Kennesaw State, but if you got a candidate that you really want, you'd think that they're probably going to wait till some other jobs come back open. I mean, we have open right now Rice, ECU, Kennesaw, and who the hell else fired their coach?
Like we're missing one.
We
Utah
are.
State's got to be open, right?
Southern Miss.
Yeah. But Utah State's got to be open too, you would think.
Yeah.
Because that's an interim. That's an interim right now.
Yeah, I just don't, now when I texted you, and this is complete speculation, of course, but that's, to me, it's got Buster Faulkner written all over it. Over it. I mean, he's already in Atlanta, Georgia Tech. They've been offensively, but they put on a masterclass this weekend, getting the big upset over Miami.
Did.
So,
you know what? That to me, that's not an upset, Sprouse. We've been saying this. Miami's been overrated. Cam Ward is not a good player. He's able to create when it, when he needs to, but that stuff's not going to work in the NFL. He gets away with it because it's college.
Well, and what the media would make you think makes him a Heisman contender and all this stuff, in my opinion, is what makes him bad. You watch the last play for them on offense, and he does that. Those are the plays that he makes. Everybody thinks they're Mahomes now. And the problem is Mahomes is special. So everybody else can't do that. You think about basketball, right, Jeff? You're a Warriors guy. You're a Steph Curry guy, right? Steph Curry, unbelievable. But if anybody else tried to play that way and is just chucking up shots, it'd be the worst player to play with. So that's what I think you have happening with these quarterbacks right now. And, so you brought it up. Miami goes down. Georgia goes down. Iowa State goes down. LSU goes down. BYU arguably should have went down. So a lot of shakeups going to happen. Now, see, my fear with like Miami losing is if they don't win the conference and they're still ranked in the top 7 or 8. I think with that happening, you may have lost a spot in that 5 to 8 range for the home game. You see what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
That's a little bit what I were like for them. They were already ranked so high that I was hoping they would just let them win it and be the only ACC team in.
Here's the thing. I think that I could see Miami potentially losing one more time, especially in the ACC championship.
Mm-hmm.
But SMU is right behind Boise right now in the AP, and Miami's in front. So if they both get to the championship and SMU beats Miami, does SMU jump Boise to get the 4 seed? See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think they, if they're one behind them,
probably would.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm was thinking too. Then Georgia loses. What, Georgia is that that's just their second loss?
I believe, yeah, that's their second loss.
So they're still. I mean, they already. Do you know
they play Tennessee?
They do. So that should be a loser is out kind of thing, right? Or does Tennessee only have 1 loss still?
Tennessee's got 1 loss, but I feel like
bad one.
People are saying, but people are also saying their strength of schedule. They played Kent State, some other.
Well, they beat Bama, so it's. I think LSU is probably out of it now because that's their 3rd loss. I mean, they're going to try to put damn 6 SEC teams in this thing.
Between the Big Ten and the SEC, I think they're going to have as many as they can, and then everybody else is going to get 1 spot essentially.
That's And see, the only way, like what I look at with that is like the scenario I just mentioned with SMU Miami. Like if SMU wins the ACC and Miami is, let's say Miami is, what are they now? 7 in the AP, 8.
Miami's 12.
Oh, really? So they dropped quite a bit then.
Yeah.
Well, they might need to win the ACC then to get
I'm
in.
saying.
If they stay right there, because they don't play anybody else. They don't have Clemson on that schedule.
No, there's one other game they had.
Pitt, I think. I was looking at
Yeah.
it this morning. Because I was trying to figure out who's going to be in. And I was sitting there looking like, oh, look at little group of 5 SMU. Going to waltz right in there year one and win
No,
the
they're
ACC.
not. No, they're not.
They're
They got
not,
a different
Jeff?
patch on their chest now, Sprouse.
They don't have the same players, the same coaches, couple
Well,
extra guys.
No, it's different.
Huh.
It's different now. It's all different.
That is wild. Huh. How about that? But yeah, so I think you got if Georgia loses to Tennessee, Georgia will be out at that point. They'll have a third loss. And then Tennessee, I mean, they may be the favorite in the SEC, honestly.
They're fraudulent too.
Yeah.
They're not.
Well, didn't their quarterback get hurt this weekend, actually?
I don't know if he did.
It must not be.
But he ain't. I mean, you paid him millions of dollars in NIL, and if you just watch him play, I mean, he looks lost at times too.
Well, Jeff, we got to talk about this because I know we're bashing it's
quarterback play. It's driving me nuts.
But it's across the country. I started going through it, but I got too tired. There were so many games with both quarterbacks on both teams throwing multiple interceptions. I mean, it's an epidemic, Jeff. And I don't know what it is. I mean, we talked about it preseason when we talked about that Tom Brady interview, and he was talking about how they've dumbed the game down so much. But you would think that would lead to less turnovers. I mean, isn't that the point of dumbing it down?
No, what dumbing it down does is it allows almost like a false sense of anybody can play the position when that's not the case. Quarterback is the hardest position in football for many reasons. One being it's such a mentally tough position. And when you dumb it down, to me, it makes it easier for defenses to be able to adapt, because what happens is quarterbacks can adjust on the fly. That is what has made the great quarterbacks heads and shoulders above everybody else. Is they can get up to the line of scrimmage. They see what you're in. I can change the play to anything that I want. Most of the times now, quarterbacks in college, other than a few programs, they don't do that. They get up to the line of scrimmage. They got their RPO on, so they think that, oh, this is 2 plays in one. It's an RPO. No, it's not, because you could have both of those. That entire RPO could be ran into a perfect defense to stop that. And the quarterback, doesn't know what the defense is in, so they don't know that this is probably one that I either need to take a sack or just get rid of the ball and throw it out, because there's a lot of defenses where no matter what you call offensively, like if I got a man beater on and they're playing cover 2, I can't throw that slant flat combo into a cover 2, because you got the flat corner sitting, you got the curl flat linebacker. They're both going to be covered. So like they don't have the mental capability or the capability offensively, like within the scheme, to be able to change the play. So I just think that dumbing down, the offensive, capabilities that the quarterback has, it just makes it worse for everybody. And now these guys don't even know what they're throwing into. So now let's run around and try and make a play. Well, that only works so often. Now there's certain guys that are more gifted than others that have the ability to do that, but you're going to get burned 9 times, more often than you're going to make the play. And that's what you're seeing with Cam Ward.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been tough. I wonder how much of it is for all these guys, right? They like, especially your stars, your star quarterbacks and all that stuff, is you've got football, you've got class, but now you also have all these, TikToks you're trying to make. I mean, what's his name at Georgia? He's been playing terrible lately. All of a sudden he's dating the blonde twin basketball girl, Cavender. So it's like, what are you guys doing? Making TikToks all night?
Probably.
I mean, Tom Brady and Peyton Manning would have a fit with this. Like, I'm sure they are. Those guys probably, and I'm not asking anybody to be these guys, but like those guys were probably going home and like whipping out their handwritten playbook that they had and just going through coverages and stuff. And these kids, I mean,
well, you almost, and this last thing I'll say about it is it's like having an offensive coordinator on the field when you had a Brady or a Manning. And I know those guys were like, those guys are goats, right? There's not, but I can name multiple other college quarterbacks that had that ability to get out of bad plays into good plays. And you just don't have that anymore. Like now we're going to, freeze and fake the snap and look over. So we're going to check, from the sideline, but then the defense is going to change their, doing it on the fly and be able to snap the ball. You don't allow the defense to adjust, and you trust the guy who's running the offense, who's seeing it live in front of him on the field. Like it's just, that's the way the quarterback position was meant to be played. And we're getting away from it. And you're just, and then combination with, like you said, Sprouse, Mahomes, everybody wants to be him, dude. There's only one of them. And I'm a Raider fan, and I absolutely hate the Chiefs, and I hate Mahomes, but damn it, I respect him. And there ain't nobody that's got the cerebral ability and then the physical tools to back it up to do what he does.
I'd be interested to go watch like a high school game right now and see how these kids are trying to play quarterback. I bet you get a lot of it. But, and here's the other part of it, Jeff, is not to keep going on this. Well, all through high school, all they're doing is 7-on-7 stuff. Yeah. I mean, they're not like, I get it. You don't want to have everybody in full pads all year long, but they're doing these 7-on-7s. It's all this gimmicky, put on these bright ass color pants. So some guy some promoter can make some money saying he had an elite 7-on-7 tournament going. Yeah. And that stuff is not football.
No, it's not.
Anyway, we got more to get to. So LSU goes down. So that probably eliminates them. Well, guess who's not eliminated, Jeff? The Wave and the Cajuns both reside in the state of Louisiana, and both of them had big games this week at home. The Tulane crowd showed up. I'm a little disappointed in the Louisiana crowd. I mean, they had just over 16,000 announced for a Sun Belt West first, basically title game, Sun Belt West championship game. They're 8-1, and you get 16,000. What do they have
to do?
So again, here's my question, because you got to win. Well, okay, here's your wins. Here's a championship season we're having, and don't tell me that Sun Belt Championship's meaningless because now we have the playoffs. So go look at the odds. Louisiana's 4th or 5th in the group of 5 odds, and I can tell you right now their odds are better than LSU's to make the playoff. Tulane certainly is. So the excuses, and dude, don't get me wrong, right? You watch game day, you see LSU, you see Baton Rouge at nighttime, and you're like, man, that looks like a damn good time. Looks like a damn good time. But you can make Lafayette that way if you stay there. If all the people from Lafayette that freaking lose their mind over LSU just stayed where they're at, all the students, then that would be the environment. That would be the funnest. I mean, it's baffling to me.
It's starting to really kill my
piss me off
spirit. I don't even know what to call it. Like, all it takes is a little bit of sacrifice, and it's really not even like a ton of money. Like, it's your time, and you can have the atmosphere, something similar at Lafayette. Now, Tulane was sold out. It was their homecoming. Morgan in the chat says they typically always sell out for homecoming, and it was against Temple. But you got to get people who care, and then just show up, man. Show up and have a good time. And you can you're not going to have 102,000 there, but I promise you, I don't know what Cajun Field holds, but 26,000, it's going to be a great environment and a great time.
Well, they do have one side of the stadium is under construction right now, but that's not the point. Yeah, and it was homecoming for Louisiana too. Mm-hmm. So, okay, stadium's under construction and all that stuff, but let's not pretend if it wasn't that there would have been more people. Like, they didn't sell out what they do have. Yeah. So, it wouldn't have been any better. Now, if you ask the Terry Johnsons of the world, they probably would tell you, well, the school does a piss poor job. The environment sucks. And that's the other part, right? It's all of the things. We always talk about it's everything. You can be bad and have everything else so awesome that people come. You could be really good and everything else still sucks, so people don't come. It's just combination of, going to sound like a broken record here, Jeff, the football team, the athletic director and the athletic administration, the president of the university, and the entire community. It's all of them pulling in the same direction. That's how you have great environments, which lead to generational fans, which leads to, like a tradition of it, to where it gets to such a point where it's like, you know what, man, it doesn't matter. We go to the games. That's what we do.
The more I meet people in positions of leadership and power in a number of different, whether it's businesses or government officials, or, we've had the opportunity to meet presidents, and like the ones that get it, man, it's awesome to see. But there are so many people that are presidents or ADs that just honestly don't have a damn clue. And it's not like rocket science. And I don't even know how these people get these jobs, but I'm just like, my goodness, you're inept on every level. Like, how have you even made it this far? Like, is it just because you knew somebody? I'm getting sick of it. Poor leadership. And not that I got it all figured out, but damn it, I try and improve every single day I go into Domenico's Deli because I'm a leader there, the business owner.
And together, Jeff, we are going to make Murfreesboro great again. Murphy 2028. I'm telling you.
Oh man, I don't need that.
A grassroots campaign. I'll move up there. I'll be your campaign manager.
Well, if it gets you to move up here,
promote.
pal, then I will.
We'll be putting so many signs in yards, people won't know who to. They'll have to vote for you. There's too many signs in their yard. Yeah, it's funny too, because when you talk to somebody that does get it, they say stuff that like sounds groundbreaking, but it's also like, well, yeah,
so simple.
Yeah, of course. Of course you're the president. Of course you want your brand to be on ESPN. Of course you want people at the games. Of course you want the camera to be on the most full part of your crowd. Well, duh. Like, it's just, but some places just don't do it. And how you can get a role that entails, your athletic department making your university better, or it's and you don't do those things is wild. Hey, we got to move on. Well, let's get into games, because this other stuff we could talk about during the games. Let's talk about these playoff contenders first. Jeff, could you see a scenario where if Army beats Notre Dame and Boise plays like they did again this week, like kind of sloppy, kind of not great, if Army gets that win and then Army gets a Tulane in the championship game, could Army jump Boise State?
I think if Army runs the table, I think there's a very good chance that they jump Boise.
Well, especially if Boise looks like they did on Saturday.
Yeah, but even so, like who Boise has left, and then depending, let's just say Colorado State happens to win out and they play Colorado State. That's not as big of a win as if they play UNLV again. Because I think beating a team twice in a season is very difficult. There's a little bit of credit for that. But just seeing how far Army jumped up, because their win wasn't, like, it was impressive if you watch Group of Five ball and know how good North Texas's offense is, and that Army defense did what they did to hold them to 3 points. Like, that's impressive, but that's not why they jumped them up. So far, you just had losses that you couldn't really, like, you almost had to do it.
Well, Jeff, and you know why else they jumped up? Army's next game is Notre Dame.
That's very true.
We want to say, oh, look at Notre Dame. What a win. What a ranked resume building win over the undefeated Black Knights of Army. Now, I'll tell you what was impressive. They had the second longest. I want to make sure. I think this is correct. So
I think you are too.
The second longest drive in college football history and the longest touchdown drive in college football history. 12 plays. Wait. That's way off. It's like 24 plays. I don't know what the heck I'm saying. 94 yards and a touchdown. It took over 12 minutes, almost the entire quarter.
Just the way God intended it to be.
I'm telling you. And sorry, I botched that. Navy did it in like 2004 in a bowl game. How this happens, Jeff, I don't know. Navy goes 26 plays, 95 yards, 14 minutes and 42 seconds, and they kick a field goal. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
You got to go for it at that point. Just run another play, guys. But, yeah, Army, they won. Their defense was phenomenal, but offensively they weren't great. Daly threw a pick. Udo had a fumble.
Yeah.
Chandler Morris for North Texas threw 2 interceptions. This is one of those games I'm talking about. I mean, like, it wasn't at all what I expected to see. Yeah. But shout out to Army. They get the win.
Yeah, Daly has 150 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, and those 2 picks were in crucial moments that could have really swung the game to North Texas's way. So shout out to Army's defense, getting it done, getting turnovers when they needed it the most.
Yep. And then, Navy staying alive for the American, because all they got to do is beat Tulane. Navy does. But they beat South Florida. A lot of punts in this game. South Florida threw 2 interceptions. Both led to touchdowns early in the game, and that was your game. Final score of 28-7. It was 14-0 real quick. Navy getting back on the horse, getting themselves ready to go. So that's a big bounce back for Navy, because they could have easily fallen apart.
Yeah. And
then, Tulane, Jeff. I don't think anybody's playing better than Tulane right now. I mean, yes, it's Temple. Jeff, Tulane's defense held Temple to 158 total yards of offense. 75 of them were on one play with like 5 minutes left in the game. So you can basically, 90 yards they held that Temple offense to?
They're the most, we said this preseason. They're why I picked them to win the American. They're the most complete team. Going into the season, they were a quarterback question, in my opinion, away from being the Group of 5 representative. We just didn't know, you had that battle. Thompson, Mensa, showed up late and ended up winning the job, and he's played great. He still makes, young mistakes now and then, but Makai Hughes, the last couple weeks, he's putting up Ashton Genty numbers. 153 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Dude's a unit. That defense is playing well. We talked about that defensive line. If they beat Kansas State, which they should have, they got robbed. I will stand by that they got robbed by the Big 12 referees. They are the highest ranked Group of 5 team. Top to bottom, special teams, defense, offense. They are the best team, and they're playing some of the best ball right now too.
Yeah, they are. And I think you mentioned, we talked about their defense. Temple had 1 drive the entire game that went more than 4 plays. But then they just got weapons. They've got skill guys that match up with the best of them on offense. You talked about Makai Hughes, but then you go Mario Williams, Dante Fleming, Fat Watson. They got some depth at the skill position. Mensa's playing well. Their defense is playing phenomenal. I would not want to. That American championship game is going to be fantastic, assuming it's Army Tulane. Tulane's got to go beat Navy still, but oof.
Is that an automatic? Well, it'll go to Army.
It'll be in West Point, yeah.
Pretty much at this point,
unless they somehow slip up, they don't have.
You would need Army to lose to Notre Dame, because that'd probably knock Army down some, and then Tulane keep winning because they would jump, because it'd go to the highest ranked.
Yeah, because they're both undefeated in conference. You're right.
They'd go to the highest ranked. Championship game in New Orleans.
Hold on, Jeff. I just got my arm hairs started sticking up.
Spidey senses.
That game will be on Friday, correct? The American?
Believe so.
How far is New Orleans from a little town called
I already know where
Lafayette, Louisiana,
Jeff?
Your
brain's thinking. I don't know. We'll have to map quest that. They don't even exist anymore. Yeah. Anyways, Tulane looks like they looked apart.
They sure do. That's where it's going to get interesting. With Boise's schedule being, front loaded. They've already played most of the best teams. They still have Oregon State, who just got beat by San Jose State. So
here's another one. I just thought of this. Let's say Army beats Notre Dame and they go into that championship game undefeated. Tulane, if they keep winning, they're going to bump up a couple spots. Let's say Army jumps Boise in the rankings at some point, and then Tulane beats Army in the championship game.
See, I'm telling you, this is what I was trying to talk about last week. Our best shot is getting the 4th and 5th highest ranked champion, which is very doable, especially had BYU went down, Boise would be ranked ahead of them, so they would be the 4th at that point.
Joe says 2 hours, by the way.
2-hour drive? Oh, my God. Book it. Signed, sealed, delivered. We got to root hard for Notre Dame. I would never, no, Jeff. I would never do it. Is that Friday, Saturday, right? Because Sunbelt is Saturday, the 7th. So. Oh my God, Jeff, we got a chance, my friend. We've always said we wanted to go to 2 of them, but it's always been Conference USA.
Left, don't get too excited.
Huh?
There's a lot of ball left.
Yeah, but Lafayette's that's done. I mean, they're not losing the rest of their games.
No, I know.
That game's pretty much there. And yeah, the New Orleans one, that's tough, but we've always wanted to do that. Anyway, let's talk about Boise State. They get the win. Genty gets 210 something yards. They did not look good. Maddox Madsen did not look good. What was he, 9 of 21 or something? Something pretty bad. But here's what I don't get. And they ended up scoring on it because the interception got overturned. But this has been a couple of times. They did this down in Statesboro when I was standing there. They did it at Oregon at the end of the game, and they did it on Saturday where they had like 1st and goal from like the 1, and they're trying to throw it. And I get it, Nevada's selling out for the run, but I don't care how much they sell out for the run. If you give the ball to Genty 4 times, he's going to get 1 yard. He's going to get a net positive 1 yard. And to me, it feels like they try to get a little too cute sometimes when it's like, you have what's working, man. Just give him the ball. Like, now, granted, they gave it to him 34 times, and that's what the Genty, the hunter for Heisman crowd is saying. Oh, you had to give him 34. Yeah, you get 210 yards, which tells me he's a workhorse, and you can keep giving it to him, and he's consistent. He's not. You get 16 carries for 200 yards. That means you probably had 2 runs that were like 70 yards a pop. Yeah. So, to me, if you're going 34 carries, you're just pounding it, and you're getting decent yardage. But I don't know. I didn't like the offense much.
No, I said this going into the game. I said this is going to be, I think, closer, just because Jeff Choate was there. He had a little chip on his shoulder. I think his players have bought into him, and they wanted this game bad for him. You could just see in the way they were playing. I mean, 110% effort every single snap by them. Boise ended up just being really just too talented. Yeah, but Madsen, though, I'm hoping this is just one, poor game, poor performance, and he'll snap back. Because if that's the recipe, that's what we said, sell out to stop Genty, and they tried to, still ran for 200 yards. But you got to be able to throw the ball because it shouldn't have been this close. The reason why it was this close is because he wasn't able to throw it effectively. Yep. So
well, and that's Nevada, right? So if you get to a scenario where the way it sits right now, you're playing Ohio State in Columbus, you're getting torched with a game like that, and they're intercepting those bad balls and they're capitalizing on those too. That's going to be the difference there. Too. Yeah. UNLV, they're keeping their slim hopes alive. Ricky White had another blocked punt. They've got 5 blocked punts on the year.
We need to figure out who their special teams coordinator is.
That coaching staff is going to get absolutely raided here in the next couple of weeks. Absolutely raided. And it's unfortunate, but they have earned it. So I'll leave it at that. And then Louisiana, they're playing great ball too.
Great.
I mean, you thought this was a Sun Belt championship caliber game, and they beat Arkansas State's ass. 278 yards rushing as a team. And here's the key, Jeff. Unbelievable. Maybe I haven't looked it up. One of very few teams in the land this weekend that didn't turn it over.
I mean, we say it all the time, man. You protect the football, win time of possession, turnovers, explosive plays. If you can do those three things, you're going to be in most games. And I believe, if I read it right, their kicker broke the record for most points scored.
Really?
Yep, in the history of the program. I don't have his name in front of me, but did see that. Dez has got him cooking, man. This is why we say you got to give these coaches a couple years to get their guys to build their culture. And I think it happened possibly a little bit quicker just because he was there prior, and he's got the ties to the program. But these guys bought in. Waldron's another great game. They're rolling.
Yeah, and that's what. See, I like the alumni at a place like that, right? Because Dez is not going to be itching to go to the next job. These other guys come in there and they want to coach there for a year or two and have some success and immediately bounce. These guys like Dez, I know they're having a bad year. These guys like Sean Clark, like they love that program. That's the job that they want. That's their, Jeep Wade that coached our O-line for a year or a couple of years at middle. That's what he always used to say, and I'm sure he said it everywhere he went. But I think he's at Georgia Tech now, actually. When he got there, he said, "This is my dream job. This is my Notre Dame," is what he said. Which obviously he went to like 3 places since then. But yeah. It's like these guys that's where they went to school. Like that is their Notre Dame. That is the job that they want to do. And they want it. There's nothing more they want than to see it succeed. But anyway, let's get on to the American. Memphis gets another win, another not convincing one, just another win. I mean, I don't know, man. Hennigan wasn't fantastic. Mario Anderson was fantastic.
He looked good.
25 carries for 144, but
just
weird.
They're so talented out, everywhere. And Hennigan 14 for 31, 160 yards, had a touchdown and a pick. It doesn't look good. Doesn't pass the eye test.
Yeah, I'll tell you what else doesn't pass the eye test is the interceptions that were thrown in the UConn and UAB game. My God.
Jeez.
UAB was up. I thought they were going to get it done again. I thought, you know what? Shout out. I was planning my speech. I was going to come out here, shout out to Trent Dilfer for locking his guys back in. And then they go and they give up. What was it? 20. It was like 23-7 or something. They were up.
It was 20-3 at halftime.
Yikes.
Yeah.
28-3 in the second half. You get beat, lose that game. But yeah, ton of interceptions, ton of turnovers on both sides in that game. Jeff, you were there. Blue Raiders, tough one. That is a hard team to watch.
I mean, what's crazy is I think at the end of the first quarter it was tied at 7. Thought we had a chance. We can't block, we can't tackle.
I gotta say something.
It's gonna take some time.
Yeah, Well, we've started to uncover the real issues at middle. But I got to talk about Liberty for a second. Man, boy, they do some dumb stuff, man. They do some really dumb stuff. And Caden Salter, for as great as he was last year, when he I texted you immediately because I was wondering if it was as bad there as it was on TV. He tried to do an option pitch with a defender literally standing right there, and he just pitched it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's the read. If the defender stays outside, you run it. And the defenders, I mean, it's like he looked him dead in the eye and tried to pitch it to him.
Yeah.
I mean, he does stuff like that. And some of the throws that guy makes, I mean, after that play, I was like, I might pull him. And then he's always got that. It drives me freaking nuts, Jeff. He's always got that smirk on his face after he makes a bad play. I know people sometimes that's like a nervous thing, but man, I don't know what they got going on there. I mean, you win 37-17, and still it was like,
yeah, what
the hell's wrong with them?
They got to win. That's the thing. It's hard to win football games, right? But it was great. I got to see Zach Green, got to see Jeremiah. I mean, a lot of the Liberty faithful who made the trip down, got to see them. So it was a great time connecting with some of the guys that came down. Got to go to the deli with a group of them. It was great.
I saw you at the deli there. What everybody get? Everybody have raving reviews.
I mean, they all liked it. Bunch of got pizza sub, Laney special, Italian combo. Help.
Now did Chris Childers ever give a review? I know he went finally after about 2 years.
I think he did. Pretty sure he said it was great. It was fantastic. Got the Italian beef.
All right, just making sure.
So shout out to them for coming down, making the trip.
Yeah, I wish I could have got up there and saw everybody, but not gonna say I'm too disappointed in missing that game in person. UTEP gets the win over Kennesaw, 2 overtimes. Skylar Locklear, huh? 28-33, 327, 4 teeters.
Need that more often.
Yeah, you do need that more often. I know it's Kennesaw, and now I know they fired their coach. I wonder if Kennesaw is going to get the interim head coach bump that everybody else tends to get. That one might go the other way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But shout out to UTEP. Shout out to Scotty Walden. We talked about that, getting a little momentum, getting towards the offseason. They've got Tennessee, I think, next, and then New Mexico State. So, and then Jacksonville State, the Rich Rod Magic. Do you know how that happened? The situation of that game going to overtime, Jeff?
No, I was at my son's basketball game.
Unbelievable. So Jacksonville State is winning this game 28-14. And it's La Tech. You're thinking, okay, they're going to put this thing away. They're going to start running the ball. Final score, 35-14, probably. That's what going through my mind. Then all of a sudden they get down 37-28. Then, 37-28. Keep that in mind. So then they kick a field goal. So now it's 37-31. 6-point game, Jeff. Somehow they have like what looks like a pitch and catch Hail Mary because no defender even touches the ball. So they throw a Hail Mary, they catch it, shank the extra point, Jeff. Jeez. So now we have to go to overtime. I mean, it's
unbelievable. PAT can't make one.
Then they get the win. They do get the win in overtime. So thank God for that poor kicker because he might have gotten jumped in the locker room or something. But Jacksonville State just finds a way to win. They did not look great, especially defensively, but they get a win. So they're still right there for that Conference USA.
Yeah, that cost me some money.
That made you some?
No, cost me a lot.
Yeah, they had to. What was the line? It had to be a 2 touchdown line. No,
I had it at 9.5. And I looked at the scores. Like, this is money, easy in the bag. Nope.
Well, Jeff, you should have learned your lesson from that UTSA game we did when we were in Toledo.
My lesson. I'm just keep feeding the beast.
Not good. Western Kentucky. They get a big win, but again, both quarterbacks threw 2 interceptions. It was an epidemic this weekend. I don't know, man. I mean, I know all the games are different. Every play is different, but man, there was a lot of turnovers this weekend. But Western Kentucky still put up 41 points, and they are fully in the driver's seat for Conference USA. Mm-hmm. Jeff, Air Force Falcons, they're back.
Soaring.
They are soaring. Get the win over Fresno. Fresno's falling apart. Fresno was the team I thought if UNLV had a chance to get to the title, I thought, well, Fresno's got to be the one to beat Colorado State. But I'm not seeing it the way they've played.
No, they're falling apart at the seams.
Yeah, so Air Force
run the ball. -5 rushing yards on the game. Is that? I mean, that's abysmal.
That ain't good.
Meanwhile, Air Force has 344 rushing yards.
Yeah. Not a good recipe for
Fresno
State.
Disparity that is.
Not a good recipe. By the way, Air Force Stadium, they redid the press box and stuff. It looks badass.
It does. It looks good.
It looks really good. Utah State and Washington State. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch 1 second of that one. I don't even know who won the game. Washington State, surely.
Yeah.
But New Mexico, man, I tell you what, I tweeted about this. They're not going to win the Mountain West. They may not be able to keep this team together, but Dampier and Eli Sanders, They're fun. They are an entertaining team.
Yes, they
to
are.
watch for sure. And they give people fits. I mean, they beat San Diego State, who had only one loss in the conference. Who's New Mexico have left? Can they ruin somebody's season still?
They
Or have they already played everybody?
Washington State next in Hawaii.
They can
I
ruin
would love
Washington
for them.
State
Yeah, I
season.
would love for them to do that.
Washington State's trying to get themselves an at-large
They are.
deal right now, which is interesting. See, you do want Washington State to keep climbing because Boise smacked them.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
for Boise's case, and then San Jose State beats Oregon State. Nick Nash is having a great year. 6 catches, 161, and a touchdown. I don't know. Is that a Power 4 win? I mean, kind of, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
And then Ken Niumatalolo, Jeff, with the fine, got fined for.
did.
He went after that ref on the field.
Dog talking him.
He won by 2 touchdowns. What are you so mad about?
Don't know.
Apparently, the refs were really bad in that game. I didn't see it, but that's another thing. We got a real epidemic of bad quarterback play and bad officiating.
Well, who's their crews? Still packed? Is there still a Pac-2 crew?
I
doing
don't
those
know.
games?
Maybe it's like a replacement crew for the Pac-2.
They're pissed off.
You got some, high school, state of Oregon high school crew coming in there.
Unbelievable.
I don't know. We got to move on to the Sun Belt quickly. We got voicemails, I'm sure, Jeff.
We got a bunch.
Okay. Monroe is coming apart at the seams, but Texas State dominated. Texas State looked like the Texas State team. It was raining. It was sloppy. Nobody there, but a dominant performance, especially on defense from Texas State.
Yeah, it blows my mind when you get these like week in and week out performances. But yeah, like you said, sloppy game, 326 rushing yards. This was like a rushing ground attack weekend by everybody.
Yeah.
Not a ton of passing in this game.
Well, yeah, because they were all throwing it to the other team, and he had some weather across Texas and Louisiana kind of in there. So I don't know. You know who looked good, Jeff? The Thundering Herd of Marshall.
You've been on it.
They need help, though, is the problem, and they still play. They still got James Madison. They still have a tough little stretch here. I think they still have Old Dominion. They still, I think, have James Madison. And then Georgia Southern has a pretty light route compared to them, but 37-3 start to finish. Held Southern Miss to 183 yards total, and Marshall themselves had over 500 yards of offense. And we'll win you a lot of ball games. And then James Madison. Jeff, every time James Madison, every time you stop talking about them, they just remind you what they're about, and they freaking dominate Georgia State. That's what they do every time. Every time, and then
every time they're at home.
It is every time they're at home. Yeah. By the way, that was Marshall's first road win of the season. That win over Southern Miss down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. But yeah, James Madison, they're still in it too. There's a lot that could still shake out in the Sun Belt. The West is pretty much settled. But the East, there's still a lot. I mean, Georgia Southern's the favorite. You still have Marshall sitting there, still have James Madison sitting there. The problem is Georgia Southern has them both beat head to head.
Yeah.
Then what do you still have? I think Coastal still only has 2 losses, or they have 3 losses. I think
3. I'll tell you. You got Georgia Southern and Marshall are 4-1, sitting at the top. Old Dominion and James Madison at 3-2. After that, Coastal's at 2-3. Apps at 2-4.
So Georgia Southern, they just have to win.
They just gotta
Marshall's got to win and hope Georgia Southern loses.
You know what's going to happen. Marshall's going to win the East, and they're going to win it by App State knocking off their rival,
Georgia Southern,
at the end of the season. You watch.
I don't know about all that, Jeff.
It's a rivalry game. You know those games were crazy.
They are. We do have some Tuesday night games. They are MAC games, so I'm going to throw my hands up in the air and just tell you who's playing because I don't have any clue what's going to happen. Ball State's going to Buffalo. I want to say Buffalo, but probably not. Western Michigan's going to Bowling Green, which is actually a huge game. Really big game, I think. But two pretty good teams. a lot of good running backs in this game, a lot of good athletes in this game. You have Tyrion Stewart from Bowling Green. Harold Fannin you can watch in that game. A lot of good players. See if Hayden Wolf can have a bounce back game. But I would take Bowling Green. I think after seeing them live, I think they got the best looking team in the MAC, I think.
Yeah, their offensive line is huge. They got talent at every skill position. They should win this game, but like you said, it's the MAC. And Western Michigan's got some talent too. But give me Bowling Green.
Yeah, and then Central Michigan going to Toledo. That's going to be a Toledo win, in my humble opinion. Toledo still trying to
outside chance.
Still trying to show that they're the torchbearer in the MAC. Well, let's get to some voicemails, Jeff. I imagine people were firing on all cylinders this weekend, but can't wait to hear them. You guys make sure you call that hotline, 615-900-4286, with your hottest takes, with your trash talk, with your predictions, with your just raw emotion, upset, or elated. 615-900-4286. Jeff, let's see what we got here.
What's up, Group of Five guys and Group of Five Nation? It's Brad. I'm not calling to complain about my team or anything. I'm calling to talk about how thankful I am. It's Friday at 6:20 p.m. I'm driving from Chattanooga to Murfreesboro for our high noon kickoff with the Liberty Flames tomorrow. I'd love to say I'm going to see those Flames get their whooping, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I hope it will, but the important thing is I'm going to be there. I had to go to Atlanta this morning, work. You know how it goes with your life. And I'm just now leaving to go to Murfreesboro. If I was leaving to go to like a meeting or work or something like that, I'd probably be like pissed. But guess what? I got buddies already there, friends driving from Knoxville, and we're all going to see each other. And that's the best part about it. All these Power 4 people we complain about, I kind of feel sorry for them. We got tons of Tennessee and Alabama and Georgia people here in Chattanooga. They didn't go to school there. They don't go to the games. They just wear their shirt in the gym or at the grocery store. They don't experience anything. Half of them went to UTC or Middle Tennessee or somewhere like that. I'm not going to see Tennessee play tomorrow. I'm going to see Middle Tennessee play tomorrow and get to experience that. That's the best thing about it. And I just feel sorry for these people. They don't get to take advantage of life's rich pageant. And we do. So for all of us out there that we don't have their NIL money, they're taking our players. We don't have all their bells and whistles. But you know what we have when we go to our games? We've got our friends, we've got our families, and we get the experience. And that's worth more than all that NIL money and all that crap put together. So that's all I wanted to say. Go Group of Five guys, and let's see if those Blue Raiders can put out those Flames tomorrow. Wouldn't that be something?
I mean, he hit the nail on the head. It means
Great call.
It means something. It just does. It's more than when you just throw on a T-shirt from Walmart.
Yep. Amen to that.
Hit the nail on the head.
Great call.
All right, let's keep it rolling. And Joe, by the way, your call, I didn't realize until I cut it this morning, was very spotty on the cell service. So I'm not going to play because it was just hard to understand most of it. So apologize about that.
Evening, Group of Five gentlemen. Chuck here. Quality win for the JMU football Fighting Dukes. They took it to Georgia State, played really well, kind of pretty much in all three phases. Looked good. They play well at home. They like their home crowd. So sets up for a hell of a final stretch. These next three games, ODU, App, and season finale at home against Marshall. It's just, this is why you play the game right here. So hope they take each game for itself and not try to look ahead. But really happy how they played, and it's kind of funny. Both ODU, who they play next, was on a bye this week, and then the following week they play App, who is on a bye that week. So each team that they're playing will have an extra week to prepare. But you know what? Hey, they control what they control. So they just need to keep the train running, to keep each game at a time, and we'll see where we are. But boy, that Sunbelt East, it's gonna get crazy here in the next 3 weeks. But that's why we do it. But anyway, hope y'all doing well, and appreciate everything you do. And go Dukes! Looking forward to a great finish. Have a good one. Bye.
Appreciate it, Chuck. Yeah,
that final week in the Sun Belt where you have App going to Georgia Southern and you have Marshall going to James Madison. Woo!
It's going to come down to that. Watch.
I mean, it will, because it almost has to, because even if Marshall or JMU loses in between, you still have, like, you'll still have one of them can win and Georgia Southern could lose, I think, right?
So if you get a James Madison over Marshall win, and you get an App over Georgia Southern, like App over Georgia, you're going to have a 3-way tie.
Yeah, but Georgia Southern beat
both of them.
Marshall, both of them head to head. Marshall and James Madison. Yeah. But you also have Old Dominion sitting right there as of now.
They play James Madison.
They would have lost.
Lost.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern's in the driver's seat.
For sure. And they don't have, I know we looked at it last week. They don't have, like, they've already beat Marshall. They already beat James Madison. But they did lose to Old Dominion.
Well, never know. Outside chances for a lot of people. Let's keep
Joe Judkins thinks Troy's going to get them, which Troy may go down. They may go down to Statesboro and get a dub.
Well, let's keep it rolling.
Group of 5 guys, Josh Bevel here. Got a couple things, so I'll try to make it quick. First off, I'm heading to a wedding. Weddings on college football Saturdays should be absolutely illegal. I don't understand why. I just don't get it. Not going to be able to watch a whole lot of football, but thankfully it's on Georgia Southern's bye week. That is a plus, but it still should be illegal. Don't get it. Don't agree with it. Whatever. But also, you were talking about on Friday's episode, when you put the Christmas tree up, Sprouse, I think I got you beat. My wife, she's got 2 trees in the house, one in our bedroom, one in our living room. She put the one up in our bedroom up literally Halloween night.
Oh, no.
And the big one, I had to get it down from the attic to go in the living room the next day. I don't get it. What happened at Thanksgiving? I love Thanksgiving. But Dexter Williams, give a little update. Yeah, he's transferring. He did blow his red shirt for this year. He played in 5 games this season. He's got 1 guaranteed year of eligibility left, possibly 2 pending on a waiver from back when he was at Indiana, and he suffered like an ACL or something like that. But, yeah, I just don't get the whole transferring thing. I don't agree with it. I mean, who's to say that he couldn't have came in and won the start job at the end of the season or even during the off season this year? I mean, no job's guaranteed going in the off season. I don't care who you are. He could have won it. You never know. I mean, but I'm sniffing a little tampering involved, to be honest with you. Now, I don't know. Can't prove that. Don't know. But I'm thinking there's another team in the Sun Belt in his ear. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not sure, but somebody promised him a starting job for next year, pretty much, is what I've heard. So that's all I got. God bless Group of 5 guys.
Interesting. Here's the thing. If any coach is promising you a starting job mid-season from another program, I'm not sure that's the program that you want to go to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and you never know. Look, coaches promise a lot. Let's be honest. So none of it's guaranteed. And they might be promising some other kid a starting job too. and
That's it.
going to see which one they get, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Feel like you could have stayed the rest of the season, but especially if you don't have your red shirt. Let's keep it rolling. Let's try and knock these out.
GOF guys, this is Roger, Flames fan from North Carolina. Just finished watching the game against your alma mater. Normally I've been pulling for your alma mater since you guys like Middle Tennessee and graduated there. However, against the Flames, of course, couldn't do that. But I'm thankful that the rain did not douse the Flames. But you do have a good quarterback. Valiato is very good. So I can see why you guys are so high on him. I think your team got better as the game went on. But anyway, just wanted to call and say I'm a little bit excited about that. I would say I'm sorry that you guys' team lost. However, since we're playing Liberty, not so much sorry about that. But I hope you guys are going to have a great week and continue to cheer for MTSU. I was a little disappointed that your fan base crowd was not up like I thought it would be. With Liberty having been down, that maybe you guys would have had some fans show up to really give them that jolt of energy that they would have needed. But from TV angles, it looks like the crowd wasn't really there. It should have been. But anyway, guys, keep on keeping on. Like what you do. Enjoy watching you. And how well you get along. All right, guys. Have a great one. Bye.
Appreciate it, Roger. Yeah, that crowd support ain't been there for a while.
Well, jolt of energy and Floyd Stadium are not two things that have happened probably in a decade and a half, Jeff.
Yeah. We're trying. We're trying to fix it.
Yeah, Vadiato's a damn good player, though. Poor guy. I mean, I feel bad for him because he's never had protection.
Either. Yeah, didn't have Mark Kelly, so you're missing your top guy. Future could be bright. Could be. Need some damn leadership. Let's keep it rolling.
What's up, guys? Zach Green here. Just want to call in and talk a little bit about this Liberty game. For some of us Liberty fans, this is the second win of the week. You know, got that midweek dub before this Saturday. If you know, you know. But anyways, pretty pleased with the way the Flames played. Kind of had some stupid turnovers there, partially on Caden Salter, partially on one of our receivers, Juju Greg. Maybe a miscommunication or something. But overall, I think they played a lot better. 37-17. If Chad would have kept the hammer down, probably would have been 44-17, but he kneeled out the clock, which I'm okay with. Always keeping that sportsmanship, especially after we had some issues with sportsmanship earlier in the year. So I appreciate that. But can't complain. 37-17. That's one of our lower point totals on defense that we have allowed. So I'm happy about that. And then the offense did pretty well. Since I was at the game, and I was talking to different people. Of course, I was watching the game, but I don't really have as many like particular memories and analysis of different things. But great game, and just happy to get back on the winning side of things. 6-2, bowl eligible, and now we've got the home stretch. We've got another get right game against UMass this weekend. Got to win that game. Got to win it by a few touchdowns, I think. And then we go to two huge Conference USA games against Western Kentucky and Sam Houston. And if we can find a way to win those, and if Jack State can find a way to beat Western at the end of the year, we're in that conference championship game. So we're still in this thing. Excited about the home stretch. Thankful the guys got back right. I can tell they really worked hard to get back on track, and so I'm proud of them for that. But in closing, really good to see you, Jeff. Really good to see Tip as well. I can confirm everybody that Tyler Tipton is alive, and he seems like he's doing well. Great to see you guys at the game. And Jeff, it was good spending some time with you at the deli. Everybody, if you come to Murfreesboro, get to Domenico's Italian Deli. That's some good food, man. In Murfreesboro, nice little downtown area. Pretty cool place, man. So, fun weekend, enjoyed it, heading out in the morning to go back home, but hoping to get back here sometime again. So thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Zach. Enjoyed the time, man.
So much potential downtown Murfreesboro, Zach. I mean, everybody sees it except the people that matter, I think.
Yeah, it's something that we just got to have the right people in place. That's what we got to have. People to realize the potential, everybody get on the same page and can make this thing go. But it was great spending time with you and everybody that was in your crew. So appreciate you coming by. Let's finish it up with the last two.
Group of 5 guys. This is Sean from Pittsburgh. First and foremost, as always, thanks for everything that you all are doing for the Group of 5. It's good to call in after an Air Force win finally, particularly an FBS win. Something we've taken for granted. A lot of winning football past 5 years or so. So it's easy to take those wins for granted over that time. But good to get them on the board now. Start hopefully stacking some more because history is any indicator. A Troy Calhoun team doesn't stay down long. They're usually a drop like this is infrequent. But if you look at his tenure there, they're usually followed up by some pretty rampant tears of wins. So led by a lot of sophomore laden teams. So you look back at history, it looks like it might be laying out that way now too. Starting to get consistent O-line play. First time we've had the same O-line in there 2 weeks in a row. Definitely seeing some improvement there. And an academy, I don't need to tell you how important that is, but starting to see some of these guys that are underclassmen getting that experience, getting consistency. It's only going to lead to good things. So got to pick up as many wins as they can with what's left of this season, make the best out of it. And nice to see plenty of reasons for optimism going forward. So I know the other academies got a lot more to write home about right now than Air Force, but don't get it twisted. There's plenty going on at Colorado Springs, which is going to be worth watching here, just as there's been for the past decade. and it's couldn't be more appropriate that as we're coming up on Veterans Day here, all the military academies for the first time since I don't know when, they've all stacked a win at the same week. So it's fantastic to see that. And make sure in light of that, you thank a veteran. I said it before, and it bears worth reminding. 2 people laid down their life for you, the American soldier and Jesus Christ. So keep that in mind. Thank a soldier and praise God for what he's given us. So, guys, thanks for everything you're doing. You have a wonderful week.
Amen, Sean.
Great call. Yeah, by the way, should have done this at the top of the show, and I do apologize. I have a child playing with blocks next to me at the moment, so if you hear some background noise. But happy Veterans Day. I know a lot of folks in the chat have served or are serving. A lot of our folks that call frequently have served or are serving. So shout out to you guys. Obviously, couldn't do a lot of things without your service. So appreciate that.
Absolutely. Let's get to our last caller, veteran himself, or currently active, actually.
Damn, that was a great Cajun win right there, man. I ain't gonna buy into the rat poison, but that looked like a top 25 team to me. And damn, it was great win on homecoming. Too bad, Cajun fans wanted to go across the basin to look at a piss poor Tiger team with the fake ass Mike the Tiger in the stadium and get their asses whooped by a running quarterback. And Alabama coach is not even Nick Saban. But damn, man, the Cajuns, man, they just put it on the Red Wolves. And, man, a team that I just hate so much, so happy we beat the absolute piss out of them. Each running back had a rushing touchdown. Backup quarterback Chandler Fields, shout out to Chandler Fields, had a rushing touchdown. And just an absolute dominant performance. And, we just, made Butch Jones cry a little bit more the other night. And, this Cajun team is special. I love it. They proved me wrong time and time again, and I'm happy for them and happy for Coach Dez. And this city, the city of Lafayette, Louisiana, needs to get behind this team. The 2 best teams that have a chance to go to the playoffs don't reside in Baton Rouge, I'll tell you that. So Tulane fans, Cajun fans, support your damn team. God bless Group of 5. God bless Group of 5 guys. Go Cajuns.
God bless Terry Johnson.
There ain't no doubt about it. He's right. Lafayette, man, get out there. Support the team. Don't wait for a conference championship. Do it now. LSU's out, right? Their season's over with.
Done.
Nothing to play for in Baton Rouge anymore. So
guys are going to be jumping ship. They're going to be hopping in the portal, all the things. But that's it for the voicemails. Appreciate you guys.
We've built a castle here this morning.
It looks great.
Great job. I think we got another one coming in, I think. So we're going to wrap this thing up, Jeff. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. Make sure you hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of Five Guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most important thing you could do, tell your family and friends all about us. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you Wednesday morning. Right.